Hi, everybody. Oh, it's great to be here. I wanted to thank Abigail for inviting me to come on. I am doing my best to get comments. Sometimes my desktop acts a little funky with comments coming up. So, you know, if I don't get to your questions or your comments, please just kind of have some patience with me, and I will be looking back at replays and seeing how that goes. So, here we go. I'm here today to talk to you all about claiming your inner magic. And I was really, really excited to explore this conversation with you because claiming your inner magic is so much more than rituals and the outward symbols that we can have. It really is about embodying the magic of who you really are and how you show up in your life. And for me, what that means is that you get to show up whole as you. Claiming your inner magic gives you a sense of not only purpose, but it means that you feel present and grounded as you walk through your days. You also have this deep resource within yourself to deal with the stresses that you experience and the different challenges that come your way. And you also have this freedom to pull away from reaction, to not react to the life that you are living, but instead dive deep within yourself and show up as yourself, and in that way create the life of that you want to live. So, I'm Christina Fletcher. I am a spiritual alignment coach and energy healer, and I'm over at Spiritually Where Living. I help overwhelmed women who are, quite frankly, too busy to meditate for long periods of time find their inner purpose, their soul path, and connect to their heart in a deep, deep way without needing to go on a long retreat or pull away and go into deep, deep healing work. When I say deep, deep healing work, I want to make sure that you can find deep spiritual connection without feeling like, in order to do that, you actually have to do the deep work first. Rather, I look at it as coinciding, doing the deep work and showing up whole as your best self at the same time. So, claiming your inner magic. This is, oh, it's such a juicy, juicy topic, isn't it? Because really, you have to actually ask yourself, what is inner magic? What is that magic that we're talking about that's actually burbling up within you? You know, magic always has this idea of what's outside and what you can use to in this co-creation with the universe, which of course that's what it is. But your inner magic is something that you have always had. When I think inner magic, I go back to what I firmly believe, and that is that we are all spiritual beings having these physical experiences. This thing we carry around with us, this thing that we love to use to define who we are, is not actually who we are at our essence. There is so much more to you than this. That person you see in the mirror, that is a reflection, in more ways than one, of who you are from within yourself. And even beneath that representation, or the energy that's creating that representation, there is a deeper version of you. You are spiritual light. You are love that flows from the universe and flows through this physical body. And as that, it flows out to the world. And it is truly about claiming your inner knowledge of the spiritual being you are, that then can build up and flourish and grow so that it shines out as a brighter light to the world. You know, I am passionate about some ancient traditions like Gnosticism or Kabbalah. And some of those traditions, all those traditions, they love to show that really each person, each version of us, each one of us is truly the divine embodying as human in order to reflect itself, in order to get to know itself. Because we get to know ourselves through contrast and through life experience. So, getting back to the topic of claiming your inner magic. Claiming your inner magic is knowing that you are divine. It is claiming the divine within yourself. It is knowing that within you, when you shift from the layers of all the different traffic that is circling around, it is removing yourself from that and becoming the observer of that experience. It is making sure that you tap into that inner version of you, that observer self who has been observing life through lifetimes. And it's getting to know yourself as that observer. When you get to know yourself as that observer, it's interesting because you create this sense of duality. You observe yourself and you are yourself. You observe the traffic in your life, and therefore you also experience the traffic in your life. And it's vitally important to develop ways of tuning in to that inner workings of you. It really, I always love to kind of go back to the basic story of becoming human. You know, I was a spiritual parent coach for years, and within that, it was always vitally important to me to lean into the journey of a child. You know, we can see a child as a role. It's like they fulfill their role as a child. We can see ourselves as a parent, or like if you are a parent, then you know the role of a parent. It's like, how do you fulfill that role? Forgetting that each person is a divine being. And when you tap into that divine being, it's good to know the story of that divine being coming to existence. So, you know, I've often looked at that story of, you know, there you are, a spiritual being, in the arms of the infinite, as it were. And you observe life, which is the leading edge. You know, here on earth, we develop observations and what we like and what we don't like. And within that, spirit literally grows. It literally expands because of our contrast that we have here. So as spirit, you know, spirit is pure positive energy. Everything is positive. It is a wonderful, glorious feeling to be in the arms of the infinite. But at the same time, the play, the growth, the expansion comes in the contrast. And so therefore then you kind of observe back at this planet Earth, and it's like, let's get to the leading edge. Let's expand, let's grow. Let's see what we can do. As Abraham Hicks would say, it's like, let's play in the mud, let's mold the clay. So, we pick experiences that provide a certain amount of contrast, a certain platform of development so that we can choose and grow as the people we want to be. Perhaps there's a lesson we want to learn when we come. You know, there's a beautiful book by Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote Conversations with God, and he discusses how, you know, here we can actually, you know, if we want to learn about forgiveness, then perhaps someone comes as in love, they actually come to help us learn how to forgive. So they come to help us expand in that understanding of forgiveness. So therefore there's a co-creation there. We come with soul contracts. We come with connection to others. And then as soon as we arrive, blasted away, we often forget. We forget who we really are, and we forget that the contrast is actually what we came here for. Claiming your inner magic is this deep sense of remembering who you really are. It is diving deep within yourself, and whether through meditation, through deep breath, through grounding, through various tools, you remind yourself that you're not defined by what's out there or even what's right here. There's a deeper version of you. And when you tap into that and you take that shift to being the observer self, suddenly it's like everything takes on a different tone. It's a different perspective. And it gets really exciting. Suddenly you realize that where attention goes, energy flows. Suddenly you realize that the stories you tell yourself matter. And suddenly you realize that there are layers upon layers upon layers of your experience and life observations that can provide boundaries and barriers to you shining forth of your brightest light. And when you start diving into the work, it becomes this back and forth, beautiful play off of each other. It's like, and that's why I said at the beginning of this talk that, you can walk these paths side by side because you are experiencing life at the same time as working through life. You are experiencing and observing more while growing and expanding as spirit. So it really has this deep, well, depth to your life experience. And it's important to embrace that, especially in the times that we are in. We are currently in a time where, we just had the Age of Aquarius really dawn at the beginning of the year. Last winter solstice did mark the start of the Age of Aquarius. And within that, it launched forth a little bit of a battle of perspective. We all felt this deep inner awakening to show up whole. This inner magic coming to light. It was like something infused it and empowered it. And in contrast, the world became louder and wanted to distract us more from that sense of inner magic. And so again, that duality came more into play. How do you claim your inner magic within the chaos of all of it? At the beginning of this talk, I talked about how I like to support women who, quite frankly, don't have the time for long meditations and don't have the time for, retreats up a mountain somewhere. You're busy. I know you're busy. I know how frantic life can be. I run my own business. I have 3 children who are now teenagers. We've home educated for 15 years. We've traveled. We've done a range of different things. And in that, I know what chaos can look like. So because of that, I know the importance of making sure that you can plug in to your truest self in small, small moments, even in the grocery aisle. So I wanted to do a few perspective shifts and a few tools to help you really know how to claim your inner magic, even in the chaos of it all. I want to just lean into this, though, just a tiny little bit, because I know how when those layers that we all have, which feed into negative chatter, those messages that have been passed on through your childhood and through different life experiences that you've had, those layers can really feed into this sense of not being worthy and not being able to call yourself divine. And I want you to really, really take a moment to actually ask yourself about your own sense of divinity. Can you feel yourself as love? That you are light? Can you allow the negative chatter, the anxiety, the stress, the stories that you tell yourself to be part of your human experience and be fueled by your life experience and the things you've observed over time, and yet not define who you really are? You are not the stories that you tell, and you are not the negative chatter, and you are not what's in your mind, and you are not what's your body, and you are not what you had to eat, and you are not what you did today. You are love. And there is such a greater part of you that shines so bright out into the universe and out into the world. And you are connected and fueled continually from the love of the universe. The universe have your back is not a mild statement. It is true. There is a direct link, a love that flows to you constantly. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to deserve it. You don't have to work for it. That love is flowing to you continually. I was trained in something called therapeutic touch, which was actually put together as an energy modality by a Reiki master and a nurse. And they adapted these cameras to read an aura. And within those cameras, they saw indeed that energy is continually flowing from above you down through you. The trick is are you letting it in? So if you know that you are a divine spark of light, that love is flowing to you, that divine light is flowing to you continually, then the only thing that stops you from feeling that divinity within you is if you're not letting it in. And that, trust me, is a lot easier than attempting to try to earn something that's already yours. You are light, you are love. Okay, so a few practices. Let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty because I love the tangibility of it all. It's really important to get into, if we are molding the clay, as we talked about, if we are these spiritual beings that are on this planet, in this gunk of the world sometimes, it's important to find ways of sparking that magic that you are. So I want to introduce you first, though, to a little mindset tool. All right, and this is one of my favorite tools, and I know that some people in this group have actually come through my own channel, so you'll all go, oh, I know what she's going to do, I know what she's going to do, but still there's many of you who don't know my work. So I want to introduce you to a practice that I call the octopus. And the octopus is something to be pulled out when life is overwhelming, when you are swarming and swirling in the world of today, and quite frankly, you're going, divine, how can I find my own divinity? How can I tap in within myself? There's so much traffic around me. So the octopus is simply this. You imagine an octopus, and you imagine it, with its 8 legs that are shooting out all around it. And you imagine that you yourself are the octopus. You hold yourself center, you as the core center, and then within that, you imagine your tentacles out, right? So you have all these tentacles that are flowing out around you. Each of those tentacles are something that has your attention. So it can be, your job, your bills, your kids, your household, your car insurance, your whatever is grabbing at your attention. You imagine your tentacles all stretched out in all those different directions, all those distractions pulling at your energy, pulling at your attention. And as you feel them pulling out, you remember that when you look at an octopus, you never see just its tentacles. You see its core self. You would never define an octopus by one of the tentacles. Instead, you would see it as the core center. So, arms out, tentacles out, to-do lists and energy flowing all around you. You take a really deep breath. And you shift your attention to the core center. Let your attention flow to your heart center. Let yourself know that you haven't dropped what your tentacles are holding. Rather, you have just put your tentacles down for a moment and removed your attention from them so that it can go within. Breathe in this spot for one simple moment. And something that's nice to do actually is to, in that breath, ask for a word, something that defines this feeling of center, your core self. What is the word that defines this? Over the years that I've done this practice with people, I've heard some amazing, amazing words. Everything from sacred to holy to calm to me. Just me. Me. It's a powerful, powerful concept. So when you've shifted your attention to that space and you found you, then you can go back into your tentacles, but they won't have the same distractive power that they had before. You know that you, as an octopus, are that core center. You are not your tentacles. This is a really good practice to do when you're just feeling a little overwhelmed. I've seen myself kind of stand in the middle of a room going, okay, oh, hold on. All right, there's that, and 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 there's that. Wait. Right, I'm here. Too much in the world is distracting us at this moment. Okay, so let us do for infusing, which is always a nice word, infusing and reigniting that sense of your inner self. Let's just do a practical meditation within that spot. And I'm actually just going to take a drink of water because that enables spirit to flow more effortlessly, in case you didn't know that. Water feeds into your sacral chakra, which is your energy point of your physical and spiritual balance. It balances you out. Your masculine energy, your feminine energy is at beautiful scale. So drinking loads of water does actually create more balance within you so that you can actually tap in to that inner magic. Little side note, didn't even have that in my notes for this thing. So there you go. All right, so let's just do a simple meditation so that you can really tap in to that sense of your own divinity. So, whenever I lead a group meditation, I always encourage participants to give a little bit of shake. I encourage that because it's really important to shake off the energy of your surroundings. And shaking is such a simple way to relieve or to free yourself from that residual energy that you might have picked up. I always see it as Velcro balls kind of sticking to you. So, you kind of just give a really good shake, 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 shake. I have known people who actually will do this for like 20 minutes and they kind of get a little woozy, but it's always a good idea to give a good shake. So also, I have my live open, which is a little delayed, which is kind of funny to watch. I do that there. All right, so also giving a few deep breaths. And you can see these few deep breaths as an actual shaking from the inside. So you actually release the energy that you might be holding within yourself. So a few deep breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And I want to just draw your attention just for a moment to just those two simple tools. Shaking. If you come home from a busy day and you feel like you've picked up too much residual energy, part of claiming your inner magic is you just give a good shake. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Shake it off. I was just working with a client and her daughter often reacts from coming home from school. She can't make that transition from school to home. And so we've got them shaking on the walk home. She's like doing all kinds of shaking and releasing, and it's all about that. And the change in behavior and change in reaction has been phenomenal. So don't ever underestimate that power. At the same time, too, deep breathing. Don't underestimate how a few simple deep breaths is truly claiming your inner magic. So inhaling through the nose and releasing. You are setting the deep intention of saying, I am here. I am claiming myself. And that changes worlds. So let us just remember the divine light that flows to you and within you. So as you sit here, feet on floor, grounding yourself well, feeling your energy flowing deep, I want you to imagine a bright light, a beautiful bright star that flows above your head. The light flows down, flowing down to the top of your head. The light is infused with love. It is infused with well-being. It is the pure light of your angels, of your guides, of the source of which you came from. It is the light of all lights. It is divine love that flows effortlessly. And the light that flows above you is assigned to you as a fuel, as a fire, to connect you to the divine source of all that is. The light flows down, a beautiful, brilliant star. It flows down through the top of your heart, your head. It flows down the top of your head to your crown. And there it hovers, waiting. Breathing in deeply. Put your attention on your heart. Allow your breath to flow to your heart. You can, at this moment, put your right hand just on your belly, just around your navel. Then put your left hand just at your heart. And as you inhale and exhale here, ask your inner self to let in the love that flows effortlessly to you. Invite it in, ask it in, allow it in, and breathe deep. The light flows down through the top of your head. It flows around your forehead. It flows around your face, your ears. It sparkles down your neck, around your throat. It caresses around your shoulders. As this light flows, feel your body begin to relax, knowing that the light flows through you and around you. You are engulfed in the love of the universe. The light flows down to your heart. And here within your heart, it flows out brightly, from within to without, from outside to within. Give attention to the light as it flows out behind you, like beautiful wings that flow effortlessly. Feel as your heart expands and grows, fueled by the power of the light that flows within you. Your own heart meets the energy of the universe and expands, filled with love. And as it grows, feel the wings that flow behind you. A true expression of your own inner magic. These beautiful, translucent wings. The light flows down to your solar plexus. Down to your stomach, it swirls. Perhaps you still have your hand there. Allow this light to bump up to your hand, meeting your hand, allowing yourself to feel present and whole. And then the light flows down still, filling you up, down to your tailbone, to your root, down your legs, down your feet, past your feet, and deep, deep, deep into the ground. Giving attention to the top of your head, feel that the light is flowing still. An endless tap of love and light that flows directly to you. It flows down a direct line, down through your whole core center, down, 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 down to your feet, and out into the ground. And as such, creates a conduit of energy, a conduit of love. Allowing your body to relax into this flow of light. Give yourself permission to release anything that is not your divine nature, that is not aligned to who you want to be. Feel it release and carried off, allowing yourself to feel present and whole in this moment. Taking a few deep breaths. Begin to feel your body again, calling yourself back into this moment. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, calling yourself back into the room. And with that breath, whenever you are ready, you may open your eyes. You know, one of the things that I like to pass on to clients is the knowing that spiritual energy is like electricity flowing through the walls. It's a question of plugging in that allows you to access that energy, that electricity. It doesn't have to be difficult, and it doesn't need to take a long period of time. Just as you would look at your toaster and wonder how to power it, you would plug it in, knowing that the electricity is accessible. So too, it's important to practice plugging in to your own divine spark, your own inner nature, who you really are. And to do that, you simply let it in. You allow the electricity to flow through. You allow spiritual love to flow through you. And you do that by plugging in. And that can be as simple as a simple meditation like that, allowing light to flow through you. It can be as simple as saying hello to the universe. It can be simple as a few deep breaths or a shake. It can even be as simple as looking up and going, I'm plugging in. Or putting your hands on your heart and saying, I'm plugging in. This is your journey and your individual process, and you are allowed to listen to that inner calling and listen to you, who you really are, and ask, what's the best way to plug in? Because how do I find and plug into that divine self and that inner magic? There's a lot of different ways of tapping into that inner light. Now, yes, that is simple. It is simple to plug in. Or your human brain, lovely little human brains that we all have, I gotta say, being human, we've gathered up a lot of neural pathways. We have created a lot of different patterns. There's a lot of things that layers that kind of stack on top of that light, which quite frankly loves to convince us don't bother, or quite frankly half the time just makes us forget. Because just like any human body, scientific, physical element, homeostasis is a thing. And if you haven't been practicing plugging in, your homeostasis is truly a neural pathway that says you don't do that. And your brain might bump up against that and say, that doesn't feel comfortable. We're not going to do that. That's scary. So it's important to have a lot of love and compassion and presence with yourself, because this is what you came for. You came for this, to release those layers, to dive deep within yourself and to reprogram your brain, quite frankly, and to do the mindset work. Those layers that you need to release come up in a lot of different ways. They're passed on through stories of your life, of how to, of how to define yourself. And what that does is it actually prevents you from allowing your inner self and knowing your inner self, and so that you can trust your intuition and follow your divine path. So there's lots of different ways that you can look at healing those layers and releasing those layers. As an energy healer, I often release those layers just energetically with clients. And at the same time, I also know that the mindset element is vitally important. So I actually, I'm coming in here today kind of excited actually, because I have a brand new guide to help people release some of those layers. Basically, the guilt and stories of guilt that will really feed into that negative chatter. Guilt is an interesting thing because we can feel bad for not living up to certain expectations. We can feel bad for things that aren't really ours to carry. And yet there's also things that we can feel an integral pull to that we don't give enough credit to because it might go against what we've been told from other people. So I have created a video lesson as well as a PDF workbook that you can work through. And it's really, really simple. It's just like 3 simple steps where you get to label, kind of going, oh yeah, that, and this is mine. And that's what the whole process is for. So I actually only have just finished it, and I haven't even announced it to any of my own audience. So I'm really, really excited to be able to bring this to the table here. I'm going to be leaving the link down in the comments as soon as we've finished this live. And of course, if you are watching this and you're like, it really resonates with you, then by all means, we're on Facebook. Just friend request me on Facebook. Come over to my group over at Spiritually Aware Living Community. I offer lots of different resources over in that group. We also do a oracle card reading every Tuesday, and all the posts are also focused on helping you align to your chakras. So there's 7 days, 7 chakras. So we utilize that as a focus tool. So it has been an absolute joy. Oh, thank you, Jenna. I'm so glad that you liked it. Excellent. That's like one of my favorite meditations to do. So it's been a total joy to be in here, to be in this group. This event has been such a beautiful thing to witness in its unfolding. And I want to thank Abigail for putting it all together. And in all of this, just want to say, feel free to reach out, message me at any time, and love and light. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your weekend, and be well.